Joanne and Dominic Brunt at Grimmfest once again. It's nice to see you again. And so, we'll kick off with a little recap. I mean, it's been a crazy year for you both. Last year, it was only, maybe the second screening before that?
Yeah.
I think it was,
yeah. Because it was Fright-Fest first.
Yeah.
And then it was here,
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your adventures since. I mean, because it really has got out there in the last while.
Yeah, it has been, it's been a year, it's been 1 year, hasn't it?
It's just over a year, because it came out, and even though it came out on DVD this year.
Yeah, it's like February,
It's been at the festival.
So we just got into a few little festivals, and then it got into Fright-Fest, and then it got into others, and then it kind of kept travelling around, and we kept being asked to put it into other festivals in different parts of the world. And then Metrodome took it off. We thought we were going to sneak it out as like a little independent release, and then Metrodome said, "Can we have it?" And we went, "Yeah." So they took it. And then we just kept getting phone calls saying like someone in Japan wants it, and then America, then Germany, then New Zealand, Australia. And so there's some really and then Sky just said,
brilliant.
So it's been a bit of
been great.
That's fantastic.
It does make you kind of feel that maybe we should have made it glossier, or
I don't think so.
Maybe it would have been a different film then, but yeah, you just kind of.
Well, we didn't expect any of this.
No.
There wasn't. When we set out, we wrote it, and we set out to do it. It was just going to be more just to enjoy it, just to enjoy the experience of us two working together and a team of people who we really like.
Yeah.
And that was it. If anything comes of it, great. If nothing does, then that's okay too.
That's probably something that's attributed to its success. The fact that it wasn't made with any expectations. It wasn't made as a calling card feature. It was made because it was something that you wanted to do.
Well, exactly.
And I think that was something that really came across in the feature. And I think it's something that stood to it, and that's still standing to it. So well done.
Thanks very much.
It's brilliant. So, you're here, not off the back of your feature, but off a new short that you're going to be showing tonight called Shellshocked.
That's right.
And I was wondering, Joe, give us a little bit of a rundown of the basic idea.
Well, the idea came from our little boy, who's obviously into soldiers and wars and zombies, as every child seems to be. And he had this little idea. He was talking to Dominic about it, and then we discussed it, and then I wrote it from there, German and English in a mine shaft. We just took it a little bit further than obviously his little idea. So obviously it wasn't. If you see the short, then it's not completely his. There's no way he'd come up with all of it, but it was just his general premise.
It was also a difficult thing where he said, "There's a German and there's an English soldier here, and they're arguing, but it doesn't matter what they say to each other, because that company's just going to come and kill them." But actually, it's got existential ramifications involved with that. So you think, I really love that. So that kind of went into our pot of stories that we have.
And then there was this friend of ours who had a studio, and within that studio was a set from another production. And you went to see it, didn't you? And you went, "Oh, please, can we just can we use that before you strike it?"
The chap that owned the studio said it's cost them £20,000 to build that, and it's going. They did like 2 or 3 scenes inside it, and they said when they strike it, it's
amazing.
Because it's really striking.
To use it. So we thought, brilliant, that idea, put it into that situation.
It's supposed to be in the trenches, but we put it in the mine.
Yeah,
it worked better because they can escape the trenches.
But it looked like they were going. Yeah.
I love that opening shot.
Yeah.
The guy crawling through it.
Yeah.
It looks like sometimes you see the old cartoons where you got a little dinosaur skeleton.
Yeah, what's that? Dinosaur skeleton at the top of the space.
That would have been brilliant. That's what it brought to mind when I saw the sort of opening sequence. But then it goes into this, as you said, this wonderful set that's just so claustrophobic. And so tense, and it just accentuates the situation.
Difficult to light. It's supposed to be single light source, but obviously you can't because it's so. Yeah, that was the most difficult thing.
And it's 2 people from obviously opposing sides, and they had to get along somehow, and they did, and then they don't, obviously.
Yeah. And as our son said, it doesn't matter what we say to each other.
Yeah, because you're watching, you're going, this is a very different film. You're watching the first few minutes, and I'm not going to ruin it for anybody, but it's climax is wonderfully.
Yeah, so it's been put into the lead, Meliers Award for the Leeds International Film Festival.
Brilliant.
And he said he was watching it going like, this is very intense. This is very, and then he said, well, the zombie turned up at the end. He went like, I should have fucking known.
Oh, that's great, guys. And is this only the second time you've shown this?
It is, yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So it'll be interesting to see how
But with Cardiff as well, so we're going to
Yes, that's coming up too, which is
yeah.
going to be really good. And as well as that, you know, you're going to have the chance to talk about it quite extensively with the people who are listening. So it's going to be really good fun. Excellent. And I just wanted to ask, you know, was it kind of a different process when you were putting together the short? You know, was it a little bit more looser and a little bit more enjoyable than, say, the Before Dawn? I know that was quite intensive. You know, you were working very long hours and an awful lot went into it. So was it a little bit easier to put together Shellshocked this time?
Definitely. It was easier because we did it in such a short space of time as well, because we had that set and it was going to be struck on the Monday or the Sunday, and we said, can you keep it for next? So we literally had for 4 days, 4 or 5 days.
Friday, Saturday.
So we had 4 days. We had to get the actors, we got to do the script, we had to get all the costumes and stuff. And so it was really, really fast. So we didn't have time to think, oh, is this right? Like, you just had to get it done. I just had to basically make lots of phone calls and write it, and then it just happened, didn't it? I mean, the actual day the day filming was great, but then it got a bit stressful towards the end, didn't it?
Yeah, it was really like, you didn't want to squander the chance to be in this great set and get in there and do it and make something that didn't cost very much look like it cost thousands, which it didn't. And we were running out of time because we were so involved in it. Of course, somebody says, "You've got an hour left." You can't what? You know, we've got this, and this. So the whole thing was a scramble, really. But in saying that, it was less stress because we had different departments then, and I wasn't editing it anymore. We had 2 producers, and somebody else was writing it, and somebody's, you know, so it was just wonderful to just concentrate on one thing, which was directed. You know, we weren't in it. We could just tell people what to do.
Yeah, and was that quite nice to be on the other side of the camera for this one?
Yeah. Post-production before Dawn was very difficult. We'd never done that before.
Yeah.
It seemed to just go on forever.
Because you were editing that as well.
Yeah, because that was actually was going to be something I would ask. Did you sort of apply things that you learned on the feature to the short and find that it was a little bit less learning as you go?
Yeah, so we potholed all the way through before Dawn to try and get it to where we were. Ultimately, very rewarding, but it was great just navigating the potholes because we've done it before. But nearly over there, you know, just getting our way through it, so it's much easier. Yeah, we just ended up with the finished film with all the titles and everything, and the sound of going, I can't believe that's it. That took years, like over a year to get it all done, and it was done within months, you know, just because I knew what to do, and I knew who to ask, and I knew I would trust what we'd done right and wrong.
And also Dave Mercer, who did the editing, he had a really good, a fantastic eye for it, didn't he? Absolutely, he knew what we wanted, he cut it beautifully.
Yeah, I did a rough cut, and he went, yeah, it's all right,
and then he
just tightened everything up. Excellent.
Did his own complete different version, actually. Much better than mine.
Yeah. And how has the reception internationally been for Before Dawn? Because I'd be very curious to see, because it's quite a localised film in the sense of the characters, the colloquialism, the setting, and everything else. But it's got such a strong story. I would imagine that it just transcends borders, as it were.
Hopefully, it's nothing. It is a horror film. There are zombies in it, but really, it's nothing to do with that. It's to do with love.
Well, that was always one of my favourite points of it, was that the zombies were almost incidental. Yeah. You know, at the core of it, you had this wonderful family drama. And I was just wondering, you know, have you got any international responses?
Well, it's only just coming out, so we've done all these deals, but it's actually come out. I think it's out in America first, and then Japan.
At the end of this month.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, and then the rest of them are. I told you that we did this deal with Germany and New Zealand together, and we said, well, we'll get all the hard drives here. Oh no, it's all right, it won't be out till next year. Yeah. Oh, right, okay.
So I think America must be the first one.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
And then Japan. Well, from the next year, beginning of next year.
Yeah, it's bizarre. But then somebody said that the life of a film is about 18 months long when it first comes out in your own country. Yeah. You've got 18 months then to still call it a new film, so you think, well. So it's been, I mean, it's really enriched our lives doing Before Dawn massively, you know. But it's like the gift that keeps giving. It really just nice things always seem to happen a lot. You know, meeting people like you along the way and like-minded people, thinking, oh, really good things are happening because of it. You know,
that's wonderful. And do you think it was through your work in the festival that you've been doing over the last few years that really sparked this off and made you want to contribute to the genre that you were becoming so familiar with?
I was just in 150 zombie films, maybe 40 of which are amazing, and the rest are not very good. So it was nice to see, and also actually. The kernel of it was the fact that Joe doesn't or didn't watch horror films, or didn't watch Star Wars, or didn't like them.
Yeah.
So that was nice. And she was like, and I've said this 100 times, but saying that I don't like them because of this. And we saying, well, you do it then. What would you do? They're saying like this, this, and this.
Yeah.
So it was like Joe was in charge of that side of it, and I was in charge of that side of it. And it was really great. It was great working together.
Yeah, it's good because we did the storyline, didn't we? We kept going backwards and forwards and writing it, and it was just great to have that time together and sort of bounce ideas off each other, and because we had that time, didn't we? We didn't have to meet in an office and sort of do that sort of thing.
It was nice to get right before we had it to a screenplay writer, Mark Gillis, who by then knew how to do that. And that was his job. He's professional, you know. So yeah, it was nice to then get it back. It was like this rounded, sensible piece that made sense.
That's great. And I've heard whispers that you're moving into Shakespearean territory now. Of sorts.
Yeah. Do you want to tell you about that?
Please do.
Right. I was at Carruthers and came across the original portfolio of Romeo and Juliet, and it turns out that it doesn't end where it ends. It ends when everybody's dead and then they all wander off. Well, in the original, the lights come back on and Romeo gets up and he's still alive, but he's starving to death. So he ends up having to eat Juliet to stay alive, but then Juliet wakes up as well. And halfway through being eaten, but then all the candles run out, and then that's how it actually really ends.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Are you going to be in
I have no idea actually.
I've lost the portfolio.
Oh,
yeah. It's been Gaz Abattoir.
Oh,
Yeah, Gaz. Yeah, I was with him. But the next one is deleted. The next bit.
Yeah.
okay. And is this going to be a feature or a short?
Feature.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic.
It was going to be done in November, so we didn't done that.
We'd started to do it now,
Yeah.
but we didn't. Well, you couldn't get the time off, could
No.
you? We thought, well, and also because of the light situation, short days and the
Yeah.
so we thought, well, we'll do it in March, April. That seemed, hopefully,
Well, you've nice long to prepare then.
Yeah, well, it was ready to go. It would have been a bit of a scramble, so now it's just nice to see. In fact, next week we're going to do locations,
Brilliant.
things like that, so and work out better shots and all that. But so this time we've got like a red. Everything's kind of bigger. But,
Yeah.
there's more people involved as well, which is better. So where it was kind of like a low budget shaky cam, this one's going to be like 2 twin red cams with proper DOP, North America and all this. And I was like,
Very good.
it'll just be like a proper film done properly. And thankfully, a proper film done properly. But because before Dawn managed to pay for itself, then people go, alright, well, maybe a bankable asset.
Yeah.
Which is a terrible thing, really, but we can stay being artists and people can.
Well, that's it. I mean, you know, if the work can subsidise a living, then that's the main thing.
So we don't make any money. We just keep saying,
it's like doing it.
Yeah, it's cost it's very expensive hobby.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. I mean, you must find it quite difficult, as you said. You just had trouble getting time off, you know, for the upcoming thing. I mean, you probably have a very, very busy schedule as it is, and yourself, Joe, as well as you are.
Yeah.
So, do you find it hard to sort of coincide to get together for projects like this and sort of clear a couple of weeks to work on?
It's all the evenings, you know. Because I really don't. All I want to do is concentrate on Emily because it's very involved, and I feel very loyal towards it as well, and I just want to give that everything. So, with an equal amount of passion with making the films, you don't want it to touch that side of things because if you drop the ball there, you've had it, you'll be out. You know, I really don't. I want to stay there.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I love doing. It's my first love as far as jobs go, and so this is more of an intense, enthusiastic hobby that we do that we talk about at home in the evenings. It's like all these hypotheticals that all suddenly become realities.
It's just good fun.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's good fun.
And I think that comes across in the work.
Yeah.
You know, and I think you can see that when you watch some other genre films. You see when someone's enjoying something, and you see when something's being put together for contrived reasons or being put together by ticking off boxes or something.
No, I'm not interested in formulas or anything like that. It doesn't like you just watching too many films, you know, seeing what you can do with them and trying to make your own really good film, not for anybody else to see. You know, I can't bear formulas. You know. When you come across something that isn't part of the film.
And that I think is one of the most enjoyable things about festivals, because you do find all these hidden treasures.
Yeah.
You know, because they're not being dictated by studios or PR companies and things like that. You know, they're put together by people who are passionate, who know their genre, and who know what selections to make. And have you picked up anything over the last couple of months? You know, doing festival circuits? Have you sort of seen anything wonderful?
Oh, loads of different films. Yeah, well, you just watched that Butterfly.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Yeah,
Odd Thomas was amazing. Loads of people. Sure, you gave me a list of what I said. That was amazing. That was shit. That was really great.
And have you ever found anyone along the way that you thought that you'd like to have worked with in the future?
Everyone. It seems to be, even just now, you just bump into other directors that are doing things. You say, oh, I saw your film. Nobody's actually standing going there with her. You know, everybody seems really cool. Yeah. Within the horror genre, I think that's right anyway. I mean, there's little bitchy bloggers everywhere that just go, that was a piece of shit.
I think they'll be doing that about everything anyway. I was talking to Paul Davis earlier, who was saying that...
lovely.
Oh yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the body later on. And he said that he received a review about his last film saying, oh yeah, it was great, but you know, we get it, Paul, you're a horror fan. I was like, well, he's making horror films, and why is this a bad thing, you know?
Well, the first thing we did, our sales agent, we had a pre-supplied sales agent for Before Dawn, we were very lucky. And she put out this little press thing in Fangoria saying this film's going to be made. And the first thing that happened was this chap saying, I guarantee this film will be a piece of shit. Emmerdale is shit, this actor's shit, this film will be a piece of shit. And you think,
I didn't even see
it. Just
made his judgment straight away. And then wasn't that, oh no, that was...
It was great, and I sent him a little thing and said, oh look, mate, you know, don't be like that, it's really not fair, we've not done anything yet, you know, we're fans of the thing. And he said, oh, I'll do everything I can to try and make sure this film does well. Can I come and be an extra?
Really?
No, you can't be an extra.
Was that the one with Romero? Didn't he get involved?
Oh, Romero got involved in it, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Because one of the special effects chaps got back to him saying, how dare you? And he started swearing at himself, which he shouldn't have done. You don't want to write it. He's got a right to say what he wants.
Yeah.
And of course you can. It's upsetting for anybody involved because you want encouragement and you've not even started yet. You think, oh. But, so he said a really horrible thing back to him, equally as horrible. And Romero said, as a special effects person and as an employee of your producer, and as somebody that's working for the film, you're an agent with the film, and you should calm down and you should behave yourself because you don't do yourself any favours. And you shouldn't be saying this about this film before it's seen yourself. So he told everybody else.
Yeah.
He did. And at the end of it he said, and I really look forward to seeing this movie.
Oh, fantastic.
It was nice to go out, everyone, just chill out. Why can't we all just get along?
It's like the teacher walking back into the room after been out for a while and just setting everyone straight.
But the most impressive thing was the fact that he's really interested. He's genuinely, he's not just a director that's going and just doing the odd zombie film or the odd horror film. I'm a massive Romero fan. But the fact is, he's still reading, Fangoria is still reading all the blogs, he's still on Facebook looking at what people are up to, you know, you think, brilliant, you know, he's genuine, he's a real person, he's really into what he's doing, you know.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
and I think that's a really horrible thing to have to hear, you know, from a filmmaker's perspective and from a journalistic perspective, because it is writing like that is causing this divide, you know, between online writers and between print writers and between online writers and filmmakers. Because I write for a lot of magazines, but I also run a website as well. And I find that sometimes when you mention to somebody that you do a lot of online work, they can be a little bit wary, you know, until they find out that, okay, you don't have just this sort of corner of hate where, you know, you spill these, you know, ridiculously subjective ideas and rundowns and things.
Yeah.
And I think it can be problematic, you know?
Yeah, because definitely online, like we get people saying, the Emmerdale thing anyway, running zombies don't run, or zombies don't exist for a start, you know. But did you see me in that red car? Why would you drive in a red car? You wouldn't drive a red car. There's no way she'd drive a red car. There's a big car down in front of it. Thinking, what's the matter with you? Why have you got the right to print that? Of course you've got the right to do it, but there's an audience for you, dick. Shouldn't be, you know, it's really annoying.
Yeah, it can be. But fortunately, there were a lot of people paying attention who were very, very positive about it.
And you have to say the
exactly.
It's always going to happen, isn't it? If the internet wasn't there, you'd never know anyway. So it's just the way it is.
And I've had people the parody for years being in Emmerdale, so you constantly have people calling your names and that just little trolley cowards. You know,
public eye, unfortunately.
Everyone's got the
Yes.
You have to have thick skin, I think, you know, and then just think, well, we believe what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
Carry on with it. And enough people really loved it for us to think, we're doing all right, we'll carry on.
Yeah, and that's wonderful. And I think that what you do continue with will be absolutely fabulous. And I wish you all the best with the American release. I wish you all the best this afternoon with Shellshocked. And I look forward to speaking again in the future.